Well, I'm Elise Ann McCall, physical therapist, posture princess, lover of movement. Today, I want to illustrate how sitting and walking and sitting have an impact on each other. So we'll look at both what works and doesn't work. I think we learn best by our mistakes. I mean, if I don't have a feel for what I do and then have a feel for what I want to do, meaning two different feelings, if I can't compare two different experiences, then it's all in my head. It's actually a waste of time. Your body is a sensory, experiential thing. Your mind doesn't play that way. Beliefs and thoughts are very, very different than this present moment, how I'm experiencing my body, my movements, my sensations. Okay? So, we sit a lot in this society. We know this. So why don't we become better sitters, more comfortable sitters, so that when we get up, anatomically, our body is more apt to walk better. And walking, we know, has a lot of powerful influences on our well-being. It also can be very enjoyable. Who would think that we should be enjoying our movement like we did as kids? Oh my goodness. Well, I think we should. I think we're missing out on a gold mine in so many ways because human movement is, this is your house, and we like to enjoy living in our house. So if we're going to live in this house, we need to not worry too much about the aesthetics. We need to be comfortable in this house, and then it will, believe it or not, look a lot better. It's all connected. Okay, so today I'm going to demonstrate for you with this chair right here and another chair, some sitting skills that I have taught, and we're going to go over them again. And then I'm going to show you how those sitting skills have an impact on your walking skills. And remember, if you will please do this with me on some level, practice the sitting. If you don't have the chair that rolls, then just practice some of the walking with me. So when you do ask questions, they will be more of like, well, I don't feel this, or I tried that, but this, and this. Try, if possible, to ask me questions that have to do with your experience that you're doing with me, or as best you can. Okay. All right. So let's say this is my office chair. Okay. So people talk about good office chairs, bad office chairs. I think your body, the more it knows how to be a chair, sounds kind of Zen-like or whatever, but the more that your body knows how to be sitting upright or leaning back, you have a lot more choices of what chairs or what couches or wherever you sit. Okay, so you becoming a skilled sitter, I love that phrase, skilled sitter, is actually a beautiful thing. Okay, so in this, I'll be honest, what I'm not crazy about, I'm not crazy about slick surfaces because sometimes they're harder to feel like you're sticking to, or early on in the learning part of sitting, I like to have things with fabric or texture. I don't know why, but it feels better, it works better. So I'm going to throw this pillow in the chair and I'm going to show you how to sit upright, meaning I'm not going to be leaning back. Then I'm going to show you how to lean back in the chair. Now, just real quick. When you lean back in a chair, that does not mean that you're far away from your desk. It just means that your back is supported. I could be sitting in my car, pulling the seat up and leaning back. I'm just leaning back means my back is being supported by the chair. The phrase lean back kind of throws people off. Okay, so let's start here. I got this. Y'all know my routine. I like to put my fingers on my spine because why? My body is a feeling thing. So if I take my hands and place my hands on my back and my fingers in the groove right along my spine, I'll know if I have an arch or not. And I want an arch. So I want to relax my belly. I want to relax everything because I'm going to move my structure. Structure is the thing we will focus on, not muscles. So I got my fingers here in my groove. This opens my shoulders. It causes me to stretch a little in the upper body if I'm tight, and I'm set up to move. Okay, so the reason I have my hands back here as they keep my back straight, as well as they tell me if I'm bending at my waist, the little vertebra will stick out. If I'm bending at the hips, then the arch is there. It's such a cool little system here. So I put my heels comfortable width apart. I'm kind of doing my own little personal yoga pose. I'm very aware of everything I'm doing in every joint in my body. To me, that's what yoga is, to yoke. Okay, so I soften my knees. I take the tops of my thighs back, or I just take the weight back into my heels. I don't let my knees turn in. I take my butt as high as I can so that I feel the stretch in the back of my legs or my buttocks. And then I sit, make sure I have it right there. I sit on the front of my crotch on the pillow. The pillow elevates my butt. So the pillow should help my knees be lower than my hips. See, knee, hip, lower, higher. And I'm sitting on my crotch. So what does that mean? The front of my crotch. Well, what that means is if I have pockets right here, which I do on my shorts, as you can see, and my pockets are up high. I'm not talking about pockets down here. I pull my shorts up. I have my pockets so that they're sitting on my tush, my glutes. And so I'm really not sitting on my pockets or very little of my pockets, which makes it really like, wow, my spine is a little longer and there's more deep bending here in the hip area. Okay, what would be the opposite of this? I would sit with kind of the tailbone under. I would be more like a C curve. And I would be sitting here like if this was my desk. And I would have, my head would be slightly forward. And I would just be working like this. Okay, so a little more C versus a little more L. So, L, the other one was C. So when I'm in the L, what I'm doing is I don't have to really concern myself that my neck and head are forward, because I'm moving from down here is my center. And when I set my center up as it's designed, it's a lot easier on the neck and shoulders. Now, I want to show you another chair that I kind of brought out another day. And the reason I'm bringing this chair out, because I think it's nice when you're learning to become a skilled sitter to change things up. And so this is a saddle seat. And you'll see hairdressers and people that do nails and stuff, they'll often use these things. And so when you sit on a saddle chair, you can, again, sit on your crotch and sit like that. So you don't slump down. It's not like a bull rider. Bull riders slump. Can you tell I'm from Texas? I know about bull riders. But anyway, so they'll slump down and hold on like that. And don't ask me why, because I'm not a bull rider. Okay, so, but I do know a guy that makes saddles up in Oregon. Cool guy. And he said that I taught him how to sit the way cowboys used to sit many years ago and how it's the appropriate way to sit in a saddle, which I thought was kind of cool. So anyway, I'm sitting upright. It helps me sit upright. It helps me sit upright, and like your body starts to take all this in and says, oh my gosh, this is not that hard. And my body is taking in all this information. I'm learning to become a skilled sitter. Great. Okay. So then you can type away and then you go, wow, I'm getting tired up here. Well, you will, because your back is learning to get straighter and stronger. So your body goes through this phase when you change the way you move. It gets easy, and then some muscles have to work really hard with this transition, and some muscles really relax because I'm in a transition. Belly relaxes, upper back is probably going to work a little just to get this new positioning. And then everything kind of settles in. Okay, so that's two ways of sitting upright. Now I'm going to stop with that for a moment and come back to the leaning back at the very last. But what I want you to do is understand, now that I am more of an L, now I'm going to go into walking. I'm going to use this chair. Now I think rolling chairs are a wonderful thing to use to practice walking skills. You can also use a grocery cart. And I have people use their walkers if they're a person that has to use a walker, because walkers can be great tools. If I had a walker, I would have used it today. Walkers don't have to be crutches. They can be tools. It's all your perspective and how you use it. So, with this guy, bing. All right, so now, could be a grocery cart. So just imagine a grocery cart, okay? It's a little low for some people, maybe it's a little high, I don't know. But if it's higher, you're gonna probably do it with a little bit better mechanics. But if it's lower here, then I have to tip like I'm about to sit down. Spine is straight, stick my butt out, got an arch in my back, and I start to push the chair, and here's the catch. See this leg back here? This leg back there pushes me forward. This leg back here pushes me forward. This leg I'm just doing a repeat here. I'm doing my own repeat. And then I move, and this leg now that was pushing me is catching me, while the other leg is pushing me forward. Pushing me forward. Okay, so what if, let's do the old what if. Here you are, computer, slumper, cross your leg maybe, talk to your friends. You're here, oh yeah, you're just not really comfortable. You're here, and then you're gonna get up and go for a walk. Well, your walk is gonna be more like this. If I was gonna demo it, push something, or you're pushing the grocery cart. Oh, well, maybe you're a little bit more upright, but you're using your arms more than your legs. You're pushing with this. Why? Because this from here down has been MIA when you're sitting. It has not been centered. What does centering mean? Well, my body is like a building. And if I don't have a good foundation, which is my hip area, my hips are my foundation, then my legs won't be in the right position and my spine won't be in the right position. Okay? Like a house, you got to have a good foundation. So if my foundation when I'm sitting is all tucked under, I do not have the awareness or the ability to use my foundation well when I'm walking. So most people that I have to reteach how to walk, there's different levels of walking skills. They're used to using their upper body. Because they don't know anything about this. All they know is their legs are going to kind of move them across, okay? They're like that. Maybe they're a little more upright if they've done some athletic things. Maybe they don't do as much. But usually most people are extremely tight, limited, and unaware in their hip and groin area, okay? So without awareness, you can't have great movement. Increase your awareness, decrease your problems. Increase your awareness of your body, decrease joint problems. They go together, okay? So I'm pushing off because my body is more centered. This is not centered. This is, my body says, oh, I'm used to having my butt stick out. What if I just call it that? A butt sticks out, okay? That's what people feel like at first because they've been tucked. So you can feel your butt kind of behind you. Sounds weird because your butt is always behind you, but it's sticking out. Another thing you can notice is your leg bones. If you put your hands on your leg bones and you feel your leg bones are forward, well, that's probably going to be a problem. If you put your leg bones right here and you feel them come back a little more than you're like really like, but you feel that most of your weight's in your heels, you're in the right place. Should it feel weird? Of course it should, because it's new. And then stretch up and play like you have something on your head that you're carrying. I don't want you to think that you have a string out of the top of your head because your body doesn't understand that. Your body is an intelligent, functioning entity. And if you talk and act like it really knows how to do something, like it knows how to put something, like it knows how to carry something, it acts totally different, responds totally different than if you say string out of your head. Took me many years to understand that concept, but it came after I just did this for thousands of hours with people. Now, one last thing, how to lean back we're going to briefly go over, but it's the same principle in that you're an L, not a C. So I took the pillow that we were sitting on, and I put it in the back of the chair to make the chair smaller. And I go over with the same principles I did. Find the groove, bottoms up, sit down on the front of the crotch. Now, when we lean back, we don't stay on the front of the crotch, but think of the crotch as kind of like a little, you know, a rocking chair, the front of the rocking chair, the back of the rocking chair. That's kind of what your crotch is with sitting. You can rock forward on the rocking chair and you can rock back in the rocking chair. So if you'll just realize that your spine doesn't change positions, it's just you're either rolling on the front or the back of that rocking chair. Kind of like that rocking chair idea. So I'm going to scoot back because it makes it easier. I scoot back, scoot back, scoot back. And then you may feel like, okay, I'm going to the back of the rocking chair. Now you're going to take the pillow, push it down, pick up your shoulders, and just lean back like your spine is a little longer between your hips and your shoulder blades. Well, not pretend, you actually stretch between your hips and shoulder blades. That part of your spine is the spine that wants to feel good. People love that area to feel good. Between the hip, and you could call it the bra strap, or the base of the shoulder blades. So I push that down, lean back. Here's my desk. There I am, I'm still an L. Shoulders are relaxed. My face isn't thrusted out. I'm just right here, leaning back, relaxing, enjoying. You don't have to have your knees lower than your hips. It's not a real issue in this situation. That's another subject, but don't get caught up in that. Get caught up in that you're supported from the butt all the way up your back, and there you are, happy, relaxed. Okay? This is an L. I get out of the L, I get up, I walk with my center of my body much easier. That's a long little talk I gave you. Questions?
Well, you might have answered this. This is from Bill in Cheyenne. How does slumping impact my walking?
The slumping, I showed you that one, you know, you're kind of like a C curve. And what ends up happening is that you're not centered, so you don't know how to push off. I'm going to show you what it looks like as you get older. You don't think you do this, but this is an early stage of shuffling. That's a shuffle. You may not be doing that right now, but that's where you're going when you have a slump body, is a shuffle. It's the continuation of a non-centered pelvis.
Well, I have a question. How does the slump convert into shuffle?
Okay. So I've been slumping. Okay. I'm a C. Am I C curve here? Y'all see that? Okay, I'm in a C curve. I'm a slump. I get up. A shuffle is usually because the pelvis is still in the C curve to some degree, and so this is the shuffle. Can you see that I can't push off when my tailbone is down here? There is no extending. To extend the leg, the pelvis has to move into a different position. And this is a feel thing. You need to feel that. Sometimes exaggerating the movement helps you understand it. So shuffle, and then go, oh, the pelvis is here when I shuffle. Then stick your butt out and push off with your legs and go, that's what that is. So exaggerate the movements to find them. I think.
Andrew in Birmingham says, if I stretch out sitting, my ankles are relaxed than when they are sitting up erect. Isn't that better for walking, having relaxed ankles?
Okay, ankles are going to be, I didn't understand the first part about stretched out sitting.
If he stretched out
your legs, okay,
and his ankles are loose like this, instead of when they're...
Let me show you a little ankle exercise. From sitting my way. You can do that, and that's good. See, I want you to feel like you can do both. If you stretch your legs out and your ankles feel like they're moving better, then do it. So I'm sitting here, and I'm going to assume that you want to stretch your legs out and your ankles feel better out here. I'm cool with that. So cool. How about doing this? These are called toe taps. And I just lift my toes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down until they wear out for about 30 seconds, then I quit. That is a great ankle exercise, and if you don't think so, you try it a few times in a day. Do not have your feet way back here because I can't pick up my toes. So my heel stays on the floor, and I pull up and down, and go back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And if you do this, pretty soon you'll feel the muscle on the front of your shin, your anterior tibialis, and you will just wear out quicker than you may think. And one leg may wear out faster than the other. But your ankles love that. I mean, this is a great ankle thing, and if you play with it, you have to play with this stuff. And if you do it quite a bit in one day, and you're a little sore, it's not going to hurt you. You should feel like your ankles are just looser and more able to do what they need to do. So that's not a bad comment, an idea.
Georgie in Tucson asks, after I sit a while, I walk stiffer at the start.
Yeah.
Feels like sitting is bad for better walking.
Well, it depends on how you sit. You know, just like my whole thing. Depends on how you sit. Of course, any sitting too much. If you're going to balance sitting with walking in our society, we sit a heck of a lot more than we walk, unless you make a mindful attempt to change that. So why don't we make sitting a skilled movement? So let me show you something. If you got a saddle chair like this, or you every time you went to sit down, you bend from the hips. That means sitting on the toilet. That means sitting on your couch. That means getting in your car. That means sit every time you bend to sit. You won't be as stiff because you have so many opportunities to bend and sit. So it's the bending to sit, getting up and down, powerful to decrease stiffness problems. Use your sitting instead of your sitting using you. You're going to be stiff if you aren't very mobile, period. But I'm trying to use what we already have, sitting, to make everything else enhanced and better.
Val in Williams says, I've been walking and now I'm sitting down. Should I sit any differently than vice versa? Like, should she be sitting any differently after she's been walking versus before she's walking?
Okay. No, matter of fact, you ought to probably be able to sit with greater ease and have more choices. Walking is a much more complex movement, and it wakes up a lot more muscle groups, and all the systems in your body work a little more efficiently when we've been walking for a while. So it ought to make it a little easier. If you've walked a lot, you may enjoy leaning back and doing, you may lean over and go, oh, that feels good. I just use those muscles. Oh, that felt good. And then you say, well, I'm ready to now just lean back and relax. Well, you're still in that L position. So remember, your sitting is going to influence your walking, and your walking is going to influence your sitting. If you think about it just for a moment, your body is always has a relationship with gravity until you die. Relationship being I'm either sitting, standing, bending, sleeping. It's balancing itself with this thing called gravity. We label things. We say, I am sitting, I am bending, I am walking. And these labels are just labels. You're a fluid, it's one fluid experience of human movement or not moving, doesn't really matter. Both are important. With gravity. But we chop it up, label it, and give it a name, and then have an opinion about it, and like it or don't like it, hurts me or helps me, and how all these things. If you can just let go of that a little, and just realize, I'm bending, I'm standing, I'm walking, I'm bending, standing, walking, I'm sitting, bending, and start to drop the story of what you're doing and feel it, you will have such a better relationship with human movement and your joints, and just feel better. Yeah.
Robbie in Mesa says, should my center, what you call center, be in a different position in relation to my body when I'm sitting rather than when I'm walking?
It's very similar. It's like you're carrying, it's like your pelvis is a bowl, okay? And the more you do this, the more you feel it. So if my pelvis is like a bowl, which means my crotch is the bottom of the bowl and these are the sides, I'm walking along and the crotch of the bottom of the bowl is just riding along. And then I go to sit down and I got this bowl and I take the bowl up and then I'm going to use it this way, and then I sit on the bottom of the bowl. So the bowl is centered, I bend, I get up, I'm centered in that bowl, I'm walking in that bowl. So in my world, if you were learning from me, via Zoom or in person, you will find out where your center is. I will spend time having you find it from a feel point of view so that you carry your body or your body carries you in that centered space. It makes life so much easier. So much easier. So yes, when I'm walking in that bowl, I'm sitting in that bowl. I'm in a rocking chair in that bowl. I'm sitting forward or back. And then I get back up. I got up from the bowl. I walk around with the bowl. I squat in the bowl. I bend from the bowl. So the bowl, your pelvis, is your centering. And the more you have greater awareness of where that position of that bone is in relationship to your legs and spine, life gets easy. Sounds so complicated because the mind goes, I don't get it, no way. Then you just go and experience it and it's not that complicated.
Sam in Phoenix says, you're right. Feels like when I'm sitting erect, it tires out my shoulders. Should I walk and swing my arms to loosen up my shoulders?
There's a lot of ways to loosen up your shoulders. And I'm going to leave that up to you a little bit because I find that a lot of times people like to loosen up their shoulders, that they like just bringing their arms over their head and doing this. This is a good one. I find this is good, or put it on your hands on your head, because a lot of times shoulders, when they feel that stiffness, when we reach up, we wake up some important muscles, and we don't lose the range we have. And if you can't bring your arms up without a lot of stretch, then I'd keep doing that. I found that over the years that people lost the range in their shoulders felt stiff. So you could swing, but to be even, I think you'd like simply as simple as just stretching your arm over your head. Keep it simple, don't make it complex. Reach up, reach back, and then let it go. There's something about arms over the head. I've shown some other videos using the wall. I tell people when they go on walks sometimes, they stop on a corner and they reach up. And they just reach up for 5 or 10 seconds and then they drop their arms. And it's very helpful to get the upper body to loosen up and be upright.
Link in Flagstaff says, so when I'm sitting, is it okay to have one leg ahead of the other?
Yes. So if I'm sitting like this, off my pockets, you may like that. Now, some people like, and I think it's just wonderful, I'm going to use these as a stool, okay? But you could get a stool, okay? And here we go. I may want a small stool for my foot. I may want a bigger stool for my foot. You might, this isn't really a stool, but you got my idea. It may feel better. You may go, I don't like that. And maybe you like that. A lot of people like their heels on the ground. But you find out what feels good to you. And yes, one foot in front of the other is also a nice way of positioning your legs. If it feels right, you got to go for the feel. Got to go for the feel. Don't listen to your brain, listen to your body. Okay, that's it. Oh my gosh, it's already done. All right, so like, share, subscribe. I really recommend that you go to my website, McCallMethod.com. You look at the tools I have for you to use. And if you have any questions, I do not mind answering the questions. I have a beginner's video series. I have all sorts of things to make this, which sounds kind of complex, very simple, because it's very powerful. You had it as a baby, as a child. You lost it and kind of sitting a lot all your life. So let's wake it up. Okay, take care. See you next week.